Let me first of all thank ICAC for this excellent initiative to sensitize our young people on a subject that has many implications for societies across the world, and more so for a small country such as ours. That's why I feel deeply privileged and honored to have been associated with this Youth Networking Forum, the main objective of which is to raise the awareness of our youth on the effects of corruption. Your presence demonstrates your keen interest and commitment to ride out corruption in our country and to promote a clean republic worthy of its name. I have no doubt, therefore, that you are fully committed to take the fight against the scourge of corruption to a higher level and thus assume fully your role and responsibility as enlightened citizens of Mauritius. As you know, corruption is a serious societal issue that can shatter the political, economic, social, and environmental foundations of a country. It can lead to a loss of trust in public institutions by the citizens. The impact of corruption is only manifest through lack of accountability, transparency, as well as low level of integrity. Corruption has also a negative impact on the morale of all those who give the best of themselves in the discharge of their duties and obligation in strict compliance with the laws of the land. It is a cause for increased frustration among the public. We are expected to serve diligently, faithfully, and in utmost transparency. Furthermore, it is the precursor of a weak and vulnerable society. Against this background, my question to you this morning is whether you, as the citizens of tomorrow, are prepared to condone acts of malpractices and corruption in our country. Because with corruption, only a handful of people benefit to the detriment of the vast majority of the population. Let me make bold to say that it is our duty, and yours too, to fight corruption in all its forms and manifestations. Indeed, your duty as our young generation is to challenge corruption and corrupt practices wherever they come from, and strive to build a more egalitarian society where the principles of equity, justice, and fairness and the rule of law prevails at all times. As Joe Biden, the US Vice President, has said, and I quote, "Fighting corruption is not just good governance, it's self-defense, it's patriotism," unquote. So you should never compromise when it comes to corruption, because that would be tantamount to an act of anti-patriotism. You have therefore to fight it because it is the true enemy to national development, economic prosperity, and poverty eradication. When a society breeds corruption, most of the time it's the poor who suffer. This Youth Networking Forum comes at an important time because the change should start now. It would have been better if you had started yesterday, but it's never too late to start. Of course, we can't change everything or claim to make the world a perfect place, but we should do the best we can. I think this is a purpose to us being here this morning. Charles Handy, the Irish philosopher and writer, has put it so ably, and I quote, "The great excitement of the future is that we can shape it," unquote. The way we can make sense of the future is to have a fairer and more ordered society that heralds hope and promise for our population as a whole. Our society where we all live sensible, quiet, and decent lives. That implies creating a sense of purpose beyond oneself and changing our mindset and the old paradigm that is so deeply ingrained. If the purpose is for yourself, better don't have it. In this regard, it is imperative that you value principles more than anything else. That's how we are going to restore trust in our institution, and trust comes with principles. It is the only way to have any kind of success in our fight against corruption. You must not remain passive spectators of injustice, malpractices, and corruption. The future of this country depends to a large extent on you. I have faith in you, in your intelligence, independence of mind, and in your willpower to make the difference. You have the potential to participate in the public sphere, channel your energies, and initiate concrete actions to reinforce transparency, accountability, and integrity in our institution. Let me reassure you that as we mark this day on the theme of youth engagement, I stand by your side in your effort to do good deeds. I'm convinced that you understand the importance of creating corruption-free society, both for yourself and for our future generations. You're aware of the struggle and sacrifices behind bagging a decent job. You can imagine the sufferings of a victim of corruption who, while being poor, has to give a bribe in order to procure free public service. You must have surely realized by now that corruption steals from the youth all future prospects, making them miserable. Employment prospects of many young people across the world are hampered by corruption, and because of this, they do not access all the basic services they need. My young friends, I wish to reiterate that it's your future that is at stake, and the power to tackle the scourge is already in your hands. Through the enhancement of youth integrity, you will start to think differently. It is said that youth is a spark which can either burn or enlighten our country. When it comes to fighting corruption, everyone looks towards the youth. While every citizen has to play an effective role in the fight against corruption, the youth, by virtue of their extra nature and their own self-interest, should go the extra mile. Remember, fighting corruption is not only the concern of only those who work. As time goes by, more and more young people are realizing that corruption affects each and every one from a tender age. The forum, therefore, is no coincidence. It's a wake-up call to you to bring the change that you want to see in the world. Our aim is to forge a revitalized youth network by mobilizing everyone for our common future. That's why you have to live up to your principles and values and be imbued with the right attitudes and mindsets. Because there is no right way to do a wrong thing. I do agree that sometimes it's not obvious what is the right thing to do. I'm not certain of the answer. But it takes a lifetime to build a reputation that you can lose in 1 minute. It devolves to you now to look up to the high role models and derive inspiration to keep your head high. You should have the high ideals in life which go beyond the self-centered boundary and the precepts of the narrow mind. This is the very first and foremost step you have to take at your own personal level. Building and maintaining integrity is challenging, but you have only ample time, but a lifetime to gain it. You need to speak out and send clear signals right at the beginning of your career that you stand by a certain ethical principle and demonstrate such values in your work and exhibit your honesty. While moving up the social ladder, you have the responsibility to demonstrate fairness, transparency, and integrity in all your actions and decisions while aligning your words with your action so that these principles become part of your character. Ladies and gentlemen, in our fight against corruption, education and prevention remains critical pillars under the ongoing national effort. Through proper education and training, you will be fully empowered to resist, reject, and eventually report all acts of corruption. And through your engagement under a common platform, you will be able to take bold anti-corruption initiative. Eradication of corruption is not easy. It never and has and never will be. And somebody put it, I quote, "It exacts a toll on ourselves, our families, our friends, and especially our children," unquote. I believe that the price we pay is well worth holding on to our dignity. With these words, I would like to thank ICAC for having invited me this morning. I wish you well, and I wish you a good day, and I thank you for your attention.